Welcome, everybody. It's Carol here, the founder of the Sleep Success Academy. And with me today, I have Nancy Campbell. So Nancy is also from PEI, where I come from. I met Nancy, well, through work at her old work. But then around 2019, I pulled out her file because I was wondering when we had done this work. Back in 2019, we had done some private sessions. And today we're here because Nancy has had an amazing story to share. And it's not about sleep, but it's about getting rid of a phobia. And so I thought I would invite her on this YouTube channel so people could learn how to use tapping to clear phobias and really listen to this amazing success story that she's going to share with us. So welcome, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Carol. It's great to be here with you.
Right. And so I'm going to let you tell the audience what we're going to talk about today. So what is the success story that we're sharing today?
So, my phobia was of snakes, and it was a terrible phobia.
Mhm.
I couldn't see a commercial with snakes. If there was a snake in a movie, I would freak. I wouldn't sleep. I just had this mortal fear of them. And one day, my husband and I were out, and we went to a get together for our motorcycle club. And he told me that there were snakes behind the cabin. There was a little pit there where there were some snakes. And I said, well, that's okay. I'm out here as long as they don't come out here, I should be okay. And sure enough, one of the guys came out as a
Yeah.
joke with one of the snakes, and it was wrapped around his arm. And I went berserk. I
Yeah.
screamed and screamed, and I took off running. And I ran back to where our truck was parked at the time. And of course the truck was locked. And I'm pulling on this door like to just escape. And then finally, the guy who was teasing us with the snakes, he went back and put the snakes back. But I was,
Yeah.
physically ill, like
Yeah.
just I was so upset, just so upset.
So upset. And so to explain
And
to people what happened to your nervous system in that moment. So because we were doing private sessions then, and I remember you coming to the session and telling me about it. We were working on something else, but then this showed up and we made the decision to tap on your fear snake that day. But what really happened inside your nervous system is so you had events in the past that created the fear. And the minute he came out with that snake, your nervous system automatically reacted. There was nothing you could do. The fear, the survival stress, we would call, took over and you ran like a mad woman. And most people would say, well, come on, it's just a snake. It can't hurt you. But your amygdala in your brain was like, no, that's like a big, huge snake that's going to swallow me whole, right? The feeling.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I remember us, and I don't know why I remember this session so much, probably because of the success we had. And I remember saying to you, there's three ways we can tap on this. We can think about, meeting a snake in the future. We can remember that event, or we can go to the past to like the first time you got scared of a snake or something like that. I was giving you three choices. I can't remember which one we started with. I think it was imagining it in the future.
Yes.
And right, we were like, okay, imagine the snake is there. We would do another round. And then we went back to, was it when you were 15 that you got
Eh,
scared by a snake in the
No, I was a
car?
little younger than that. I think I was like, well, not much, but about 13 in my
13.
own yard. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we tapped on that event again, like just remembering it, like what was happening in your body during the session, remembering that, and then to say what happened after the session.
So I was jogging at the time, and I felt fine after the session, but it's hard to tell if, well, has anything really changed?
Hmm.
So I went for a little jog on the island trails by myself, and I was running along, and I saw like a little twig up across the trail. And I thought to myself, be careful, don't trip on that, because I am a little clumsy. And, anyways, I got up to it, and the twig raised its head. It was not a
Hmm.
twig, it was a
Not a
snake.
twig.
But in my head, I just said, oh, it's a snake. I jumped over the top of it, kept on going like it wasn't anything to be afraid of at all.
Yeah.
The old me
Yeah.
would have gone berserk. I would have turned around and gone the other direction. And I was on my way home. And but I just couldn't believe it. I just continued running, basically.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
logged the recognition that that was a snake, and I just kept going. And when I got home, I was like, Gerard, you are not going to believe this.
Yeah.
So it was hard
It
to
was
believe.
amazing. Yeah. And what prompted us to do this video is Nancy just got back from vacation. And so you're going to see this picture on the screen now of Nancy with a snake wrapped around her neck, right? So she sends me this picture and she says, "You won't believe what I just did." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like my heart was just so full of like, can you imagine we had one tapping session on snakes because it had just happened and it was really, we were working on something else, but when you showed up at the session that day, that was what was really dysregulating your nervous system, to be able to go and jump over a snake to having a snake around your neck, quite a few years later, but still the fear never came back. Right.
No,
And so tell me about your experience. Like, what made you say it was okay to put a snake around your neck?
well, I was in Cuba, and Cuba has been suffering financially. So I brought a lot of things with me to give to people. And I went into the washroom at one point in time. Gerard was waiting outside for me. And when I came out to wash my hands, I noticed there was a couple of girls standing there. And I looked over. One of them had an alligator, a small alligator in her hand, and the other had a snake around her neck. And I was like, oh. And I just looked at them and they said, oh, it's for pictures. And I said, oh. Now, I also had brought some treats for the entertainers. So I brought like false eyelashes and, eyelash glue, eyeliner, lipstick, and so on. So I gave them some because I thought, they're trying to make some money. And she said, oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she wanted to give me, like she said, okay, picture. And I said, no, that's okay. That's okay. Because I didn't want them to feel like they owed me anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, I said, good night. And I started out the door and they came after and she just handed me the alligator like this. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
And then, Gerard took a picture and then the other girl put the snake around my neck. And I could feel it, how snakes
Yeah.
will. They'll try and feel their way. And there was nothing. There was no fear. There was nothing. It was kind of joyous, actually.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit sorry for the animals because I was like, they should be in the wild,
Yeah.
but these girls are trying to make a living and so on. But no fear.
No fear.
Like the old me, if I'd have seen that snake in the washroom, I would have hightailed it out and screamed into Gerard's arms.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And we went back to our friends, and I was really excited to show them the picture. I was like, look what just happened, But
Mm.
it's amazing. Like tapping works.
Yeah, it does. And and so I'll share my success story about similar but different. So I have always been afraid of water. I've tried swimming, I've taken swimming lessons, and I gave up and put my kids in swimming lessons and made them lifeguards so that if something happened, they could save me. That was always the joke, right? And when I was doing my certification, I had to do a personal case study. And I did it on being able to go in a pool. And I wanted to float for a minute, thread water for a minute, and swim one length of the pool because we have an Olympic sized pool here at the Carry. And so I did a lot of tapping on the fear of getting in the water and all that. Went with my friend, only did about 15 seconds of each because then the panic was coming. And then I realized that I had not tapped on letting go of the side of the pool, that actual feeling, right? Once you let go, then you're like there. And so did some more tapping on that. So my fear though wasn't just, my fear was long standing as well. but there was more aspects to it. There was more, and I was tapping by myself. I wasn't guided by anyone because that was the personal case study. And I remember going back to the pool with Jacinta, my friend, and I laid, floated for a minute, and calm as can be, got myself up and threaded water for a minute. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but stay close, right?" And then we did a length of the pool and we came back. And that was very exciting. But I don't like water, so I really don't go in water. But I was just in Punta Cana for my birthday and went swimming with dolphins. And when my husband saw the pictures, because he wasn't with me, he was the same. He was like, "I can't believe that you actually went in the water." And we're in the middle of the pool hanging off to a dolphin, and he pulled me all the way. And I'm like, "Yeah." And I even lied on my papers that you're supposed to say that you can swim, and I can swim, I guess, like not really, but they put a life vest on you. And my friend Jacinta was with me. So I knew if I went down, she'd come get me. She's a really great swimmer. So, but I did it. And so we can get rid of phobias using tapping. It does, like with you, it was a one session wonder. It truly was. And those
Yeah,
don't happen a whole lot, but it happened with you. Me, it took more. But if we bring this to sleep, right? So many people have phobias of going to bed, fear of night, fear of sleeping because they've had so many bad nights of not sleep. And that's where tapping, we're now using tapping to use all of that. And so your story is not about sleep, but it kind of is. It shows how tapping can help get rid of phobias. Yeah,
absolutely.
so exciting.
It really is. It is
Yeah,
life changing.
yeah, yeah.
You know, that first time that I jumped over that twig snake on the trail, I was just mind blown. And then I've seen snakes since, and but I can't. The closest I've been was having that snake around my neck, and
Well, I
was
mean, I
nothing.
remember you telling me something, and I might get the story wrong because I mean, it was 2019 and I haven't relooked at our notes, but Gerard had flipped the channel and a snake came on the
Yeah.
TV or something, and you got so mad at him because there was a snake
Yes,
on the TV,
good memory. Yes, good
right?
memory. Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
right? And then all of a sudden to be able to have a snake around your neck. So imagine like
Yeah,
you could use this on any phobia. Now, like I said, it might need more than one tapping session, but it is possible if you can get to the
yeah,
root cause of the fear. And we really worked, like your session, I remember, like, because I was a new practitioner and I was following the script, and I was like, okay, like this part, like I'm a very good practitioner, but I remember back then, like really paying attention to. Now I just more in tuned, and it happens easier for me in sessions. But I remember your session so clearly because it was my first time on a phobia, and I did not know if we were going to get results. Like, how could you know? Because, like you said, you felt good after the session, but until you actually tested it out in the real world. Anything else you want to say? So we're going to close off this video, but just curious if you have anything else you want to share from the bottom of your heart to the audience watching this.
tapping works. Um, Even to this day, like I'll find if I'm getting anxious about something, I will start tapping. And it might just be, right here, right now, I'm safe. Right here, right now, I'm
Mhm.
safe. And um, it works. I'm living proof
Mhm.
of how effective it is. You're living proof.
Yeah,
There are many people out there that give it a try. Like
yeah,
it's worth your investment,
yeah.
um, because it changes lives.
It does. And it was changed mine completely. And it changed my career, changed my life, it changed my happiness, it changed my relationship with my husband, it changed my relationship with water. It changed my relationship with
Yes.
sleep, right? Even like I sleep so well now. And I know there are nights I won't because we don't all sleep perfect all the time, but I'm not worried about it anymore because I know I have the tools
Yeah,
to get myself back on track, right? So, yeah.
exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this video with me. I'm excited to share this with the world so that people can hear more about how this can help them.
Well, thank you for having me, Carol, and thank you so much for helping me change my life.
I
I'm so
know, right?
grateful.
I wonder which next picture we're going to get about snakes. Okay,
Exactly.
bye everyone.